In this last video, we're actually going to go through the process of looking at the Gerbers that are generated from our PCB, as well as ordering these boards from OSH Park. To look at the output as individual Gerber files, you would load up the plot option. Gerbers were originally developed as a pen literally drawing on a piece of PCB or on a mask material that was then transferred into the copper pattern. So that is literally what they're doing. That's why the plot term's used. We're going to use the format Gerber. We're going to put it in a directory called Gerber. We're going to make files for the front copper, the back copper, the back silk screen, and the front silk screen. We also could choose to make files, for example, for the solder masks, front and back, and as well as the edge cuts. So that's the board dimensions, the solder mask front and back. Okay, so this will allow us to generate these. There are these formats that can be used in terms of the output, and certain manufacturers will be a little picky about what they want, but in general, the basic default is all you would need. So that's generated our Gerber files, and you can see it's done one layer each. So it's got the board outline, the mask, the silk screens, and then we can also generate a drill file. Drill files needed by the manufacturers to know exactly where to put each hole for the center of each via and the center of each through-hole part, as well as the actual size to be used. The default for this is going to be an HPGL file in the units of inches in a decimal format. I recommend that you don't do any of the suppressions in the drill patterns. In fact, you keep all of your zeros in place. This precision is saying it's got 2 decimal places, or 4 decimal places and 2 forward places. From here, we can just generate the drill file. There it is, and it's a v1.drill. So then this pack of files represents the Gerbers. One of the nice things about KiCad is you do have the ability to actually look at Gerbers with the tool itself, using its own Gerber viewer, which I'm going to have to find. Oh, that's probably in our main window. Here we go. Here's our Gerber viewer. And then we can just see if these files make sense to us. So we'll open those up. They're in our Gerber directory. We'll look at the top copper first. There it is. Okay. And so here's our top copper. We can see what each of these lines is labeled. So this is circle 19, or the part that it's tied to. Kind of some of that information around there. But basically this is exactly, once I've turned those codes off, exactly what the copper will look like on the one layer. Okay. If we want to, we can also add the other layers. So that's layer 1. If we jump to layer 2, in layer 2 we can load a different Gerber file, and let's do the bottom copper for layer 2, and then we can see these two on top of each other. All right. And then we could add all the other layers along the way. So that's useful for kind of seeing them independently, because we can turn them off and on as we want to be able to make sure that what we're building is what we're expecting to have built. And double check that we don't have things in the wrong layers, things of that nature. So that's what's nice about that. But also a lot of modern manufacturers, PCB manufacturers, let you just directly upload the file. This is true of OSH Park. So right here, just drag and drop your KiCad file into this directory, and it's going to go ahead and run the process of checking it out. So let's grab our KiCad PCB right here. Well, oops, that wasn't the right spot to drop that. That wasn't the right thing to do. Back out of that. Got to actually hit the right target for it to work. The thing I'm going to make sure is that I've saved this, because I actually want to make this file, not a different version of it. Okay, file is uploading right now. It'll take a little bit of time. And then what's nice about OSH Park and a lot of manufacturers, it'll kick back a version of what it thinks the board will look like. And then you'll want to actually manually verify that. So just kind of getting a look and feel for it. So here's about what it thinks the board's going to be. It looks like it wants me to double check that the copper pores are right. It's about 1 by 2.86 inches. Makes sense. It gave it a name for me just to use. This is going to be tied into my internal account. I'm going to put my personal email in there because that's what I'll need. Board name is going to be, well, I already called it something. Called it ECE34X.0. Okay. All right. Okay, well that took a little bit of time, but it got me signed in. And then it's showing each layer. So this is what the top of the board will look like. It's showing the silk screen, it's showing the copper, it's showing the solder mask all as one. So that makes sense for me in the top part of the board. It's showing the bottom of the board, and so now this is flipped as though you'd be looking at it. So there you can see you have the access to the reset button, the programming, and the 2 push buttons, as well as the other battery connector. You have all the drill holes, those look right. You have the actual copper of the different layers, the solder mask, the board outline, etc., 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 all the different pieces. So if this looks good to you, then it's just a matter of ordering. From here, you would pick your production. Osh Park requires a quantity of 3 at a time. So it's saying it's 1550, and I'm going to get 3 copies of the board. I can speed things up if I wanted to get these faster, if I want to guarantee this back in a shorter period of time, which you can look up what the Super Swift service is on your own. But based upon when you need to order them, you may or may not need to pay that price. And then you just go through the process of ordering. That's it. Okay, so I showed you how to run an Osh Park order, and we're going to get these boards on their way. I'll go ahead and end this sequence of videos, and then maybe when we get the board back, we'll actually go through a little bit of a process about assembling it.